Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm showing you the pages that I completed for my coloring in the month of April. Now, for the first time, I am using my tripod. So I have not used this before and it's a learning experience. So this video might be awkward in some spots and I do apologize. Until I get it all figured out, I don't really know how to be perfect with it yet. But I have had a tripod for quite a while. I just never used it. It's a big tripod, not like the little three-legged ones that so many people show. So I've had to kind of tweak what I'm doing, and it's a learning process. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to show you the first one I did was actually a drawing that Keith did for me. I'm always after him to sketch me out something to draw. And so finally he indulged me and he sketched me a picture of a vampire lady with her victim, and I just was thrilled with it. I absolutely was delighted to be able to start coloring it. And because he knows I love coloring women and fashion and horror and stuff like that. So it was kind of a challenge to color it though, because it was on sketch paper, and sketch paper is kind of like a different type of paper than what we're used to coloring. So I couldn't use a blender pencil or anything like that. But I was just really pleased with it, the way it turned out. I just love how he did like the flower petals and the guy all scratched up and in shock. And I love the weeping angel, you know, right there. And of course I loved her. She's quite buxom and everything. But I just really, really loved it. I thought he did a really good job on it. And I was super, super pleased. So that was the first picture that I've done in April. And he hopefully will be drawing me more. Then the next one I did was for Laura's color along. I know the lighting isn't great either, and I got to figure out how to do that. She had a color along where she did, you could use Dover or Creative Haven, and I've had this Japanese designs. It's a Michaels book, but they're published by Dover, where it's 2-in-1. I've had it for quite a while, and so I picked this one of this lady here, and I used my Faber-Castell polychromos for the first time. I wanted to see exactly like what they could do and how they worked. So that's what I did. I used them on this one, and I really liked the way they performed. I thought they did a really good job. And so her dress and her skin, the leaves, the grass, the mountain, the water, all that is pencil with the polychromos. And then for the background, the clouds and the sky, I did just chalk, cheap chalk, but I'll show you that. Yeah, the lighting is kind of weird here, but it's really gloomy. We have like thunderstorms and rain today, so that was the one I did for Laura's color along out of the Dover Japanese design from Michael's book. Then next we had Shalene's color along, which she included Bennet Klein, and I had this book for quite a while. I had never colored in it because I saw so many beautiful colorings on Instagram from the book that I really wanted it, but I never colored in it because I was like totally intimidated by it. So I was glad when Shalene included it in her color along, because I thought, well, this will be the perfect opportunity for me to pull that book out. And I was really excited. And then once I started, I was really intimidated. And I'm like, okay, this is really a challenge for me. But this was the first one I did. I think it turned out okay. I used just like black acrylic paint on the background and pencils for the birds and her hair. The problem is with this kind of paper, you see how like you get that little white, where like white spots where the color doesn't lay down smoothly because the paper is so coarse and not great quality. So you kind of have to work with, sometimes I think it's easier to work with the less expensive pencils, that they do better on this paper. But I used, I think, Prismacolors, and Also, I use my Verathins. I use the Verathins on the birds, and they do better because they're harder. So I think they actually do better on this type of paper than the Premiers do because they're so soft. So like you can see the difference. If I can bring it up a little bit, it just looks a little bit smoother. Maybe not a ton smoother, but somewhat than what you see on her hair. Can you see a difference between like her hair there and then the birds? So, but I was fairly pleased with it. I thought it turned out pretty good. And then I felt confident enough to try another one. So I did this one, and this one I had gotten my stickle order in, and I was really excited to use the stickles. So I just like went crazy, and I had fun with this one. I didn't worry about anything. So I used Deco Art acrylic paint on the background. I think the color is called Desert Turquoise. And then I used Crayola Super Tip markers on the whole thing. And then I went in with pencil and shaded, and then I added stickles. And I don't know if you can see the stickles good or not. But there's stickles everywhere. Let me see if I hold it up, if you can see the stickles. There's some stickles there and there. I have a hard time with stickles because I can't squeeze the bottle hard enough with my hands. So I just put a little bit on a paint palette and I use a brush and I just go crazy. So yeah, I used the Crayola Super Tip markers, even her skin, because they have a flesh tone one, and I just, you know, had fun with it. So I was really, really happy to do this picture. I liked it a lot. And then, let's see, Easter was coming, and we went to my mom's house for Easter weekend and stayed with her, and I wanted to take a coloring book, so I grabbed the Magical Dawn since it's hardcover and it will travel well without getting squished at all. And I did, let me see, this one. I'll move it up so you can see it a little bit better. I did this one, and I used the Faber-Castell Polychromos in that. This was the first time I've ever colored a gemstone before, and I think it was okay for my first attempt. I watched a couple tutorials on YouTube, and then looked up pictures on Instagram and Google of gems and stuff like that, and I was okay pleased with it. I'm looking forward to improving my skills at coloring the gemstones, but I thought for my first attempt it wasn't too terribly bad, and I just didn't do a background or anything because my hands were kind of bothering me and I was over it. But I thought, you know, the gem was okay. It wasn't like fantastic or anything, but you know, it turned out all right. And I was at my mom's using a pillow on my lap to color instead of at my desk like I usually am, because she doesn't have a good coloring setup for me. So that was from Magical Dawn. And then Sharon's color along started, and she was doing various books, but some of them were the Hannah Lynn books. You could do anything by Hannah Lynn. And I have 3 Hannah Lynn books. I have this one, I have the Halloween, and then I have the Enchanted Faces. And I intended to do one from each book, but it didn't work out that way. I actually ended up just doing 2 from here. But I had a lot of fun with them, and here's one of them. I just thought this was so much fun to do to do this one. I used again the Crayola Super Tip markers for the whole thing, except for her skin is green, and I used colored pencils for that. I think Prismacolors, but I used the Crayola Super Tips, and then the background I used my navy blue Sharpie. And I used stickles for that too, so I don't know if you'll be... I wish they would show up, because there's a ton of stickles on this, but I guess it's probably not gonna show up that much. But, and I also used the metallic Sharpies for the stars there. And like I said, her skin is Prismacolor pencils. So that I did for Sharon's color along. And then let's turn it and I'll see if I can find the other one. I think it's at the very back of the book. We have this one that I did also. and I did the same method, Crayola super tip markers, and then I went back in with pencil and shaded in and highlighted and stuff like that, and then I covered it all with stickles, and I have, so you can see the stickles there on the leaves. I have stickles everywhere on this sucker. I mean, I stickled the heck out of it. You know, they're showing up right there pretty good. So yeah, and I got the Derwent skin tone pencils recently, and I used them to color her, and I like those pencils a lot, but I will not be using them, I don't think, with this kind of paper anymore because they're too soft. But this was a lot of fun. I really had a lot of fun doing these Hannah Lynn pages, and just, you know, making them super sparkly, and just, oh, look at her hair. So much fun. I mean, some people, they use their stickles in like a little line, and me, I just stickle I would say a naughty word. I just stickle the you know what out of everything. It's just a lot of fun to do it that way. So those were for Sharon's color along. And then I have started on the color along for Grace. She has various books you can use. Also, I chose Daria's Song because that's one of the illustrators that she has included. This one is the Time Chamber. I took the dust jacket off of it while I color because I didn't want it to get ruined, crinkled up and stuff. So this is the page I am working on for this color along for Grace. And it's weird that I chose this one because I'm really not a person that's into coloring flowers and stuff like that, but it just appealed to me for some reason. I have a plan of how I want the vase to look, so I'm kind of interested to see if I can rise up to meet the challenge that I've given myself, if I can make it look the way I want, and we'll see how that happens. But I've just been using the my Faber-Castell Polychromos on this one too so far with the leaves. But that's all I have for you guys right now. These are the pages that I completed in April, and I'm pretty sure that I remembered all of them. I was like, am I forgetting something? I didn't know. So but I think that's it. I might have, if I did forget something, it's just one paper or one page. I don't think I've, you know, skipped any of them too much. So April just seemed like a really long month. I don't know why exactly. It just seems super long. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your interest in my coloring. It makes me feel very blessed that so many people are positive and give me such good response and feedback, and I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of the things that you guys have colored for the various color alongs. And yeah, it's just really fun, and I think it's a good time. We all have a good thing going in this community. So all right, you guys, enough of my chatter. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.